Welcome back, you guys. We are going to be working on a Glock 19 Gen 4. Pretty interesting build ahead of us tonight. Had a customer reach out to me and kind of gave me the rundown of what was going on and said, can you do a fix-it build on my slide? I want something that's a little more presentable, obviously more functional, and let me know your thoughts. So they shipped it to me. I wanted to really have it in hand to get more of a feel for like where are we and what can we do, and let's discuss that. I want to kind of take you guys through the process of where we are as far as the damage that's on the slide now, where we hope to be at the end, and we're going to see how much of that we can kind of remove and disguise and turn this into somewhat of a beautiful pattern in the end. So let's discuss the damage of where we are now. So the customer had the back section of the slide cut for an optic, and we have several issues that we can obviously point out right here at the beginning. One of those is we have almost no dovetail remaining. So if you were to actually drive an iron through there, more than likely that thing's just going to fold right over time. It's going to slide out the back, and you're going to just be complaining all the time about, hey, my rear iron won't stay in, it falls on the ground, and that's going to be a problem. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing the rear dovetail all the way off the slide as a whole. So this is going to be somewhat flattened out here. I'll probably do some kind of a cleanup on the edges, make it look a little bit more presentable overall. So we'll only be running with the rear optic on the weapon. There won't be a dovetail in the back zone. Now, one of the other issues we have here is we did notice that the existing machinist, whoever that was, ended up hitting the plunger hole here. In most cases, it's not really a problem. What you have to run into, what you have to check that you may run into, is if it will actually do a full stroke or not. So you really got to put an optic in there. You really need to put your plunger in there and then push it up as if you were cycling it on a frame to see if it actually strokes all the way, or if for some reason it doesn't, go all the way up and it still protrudes down on what would be the bottom side, and then therefore we have an issue ejecting. So that's something that we're going to kind of take a look at. I don't have all the parts here, so there's a possibility that could be something that the owner is going to have to take a look at, and then once again, they may or may not have a problem. I don't know. This is definitely deeper than what I typically would cut them, so we're going to do our best. And then of course we're missing screw holes, right? So there's no screw holes here. So we have to align an optic in here that's going to fit in here. It's the same as the Venom, the Burris Fastfire 3. So we're going to punch some holes in there. We're going to go ahead and throw those holes. There's absolutely zero contour of the front and the back, so we have a straight cut front, straight cut back, almost like what you'd see on like maybe a Viper. So we're going to do our best to get those screw holes where they are and mitigate the play that would be from front to back, limiting it with the screws. So we're going to do our best on that, and we're going to kind of see how that comes out. Now, we're not going to be doing any work on the front here. I am going to do a pretty heavy sandblast with some AO and see exactly what that comes out looking like. I don't know if there'll be any cleanup on there. There may or may not. We're gonna hammer it pretty hard and hopefully strip it down to where it looks somewhat smooth. We can kind of get a feel for are the serrations even? Are they, are there any burrs or are there any weird things there? But we don't anticipate doing a whole lot of work on the actual top of the slide. Now, of course, we have some side correction to take care of here. So on the back zone, the machinist, I'm assuming that this was done by a mill. It looks like mill work, not CNC work, just judging by the serrations and some of the other things here. We're going to shave this down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take off a couple thou on the top side to clean this back up to where it's smooth. Depending upon what it looks like, we may match the other side in the back, which would be just from the rear serration back, so that way they're the same thickness overall. We're going to take a look at that once we kind of tackle this end to see if we want to go back and correct the other side. Then of course up here, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up doing a shaved side. You guys see that a lot, especially on like our Hive guns. We'll run like a cutter down through the side here, and it'll go up and then it'll go around the ejection side. Now, one of the things I want to tell you already is that based off of just looking at this, I know my cutter is spaced out a little bit farther away from where the ejection side is. So I think we're still going to get a little bit of this trash remnants stuff left over on here. So my anticipation is that we'll shave the side, and then once we get somewhat of a clean, smooth side, we're going to still see some junk over here and some stuff around this edge. I'll probably come back and just trim this off and then do like some sort of a wet sand and then a pretty heavy AO sandblast. I'm probably going to try to, remove that and clean that up as the best we can, so that way it looks the cleanest. And then of course we have the hole, right? So we've got an issue with the hole. So I've been thinking about that for a while on how to do a correction on there. I'm hoping that the pattern that I've built will completely remove the hole altogether. So as of right now, we need to see how it lays, but shave side, and then we're going to have an angled, basically like a 45, and then it's going to come off the edge, and we're going to do a shave, right? And the reason we're doing that is because this is deeper than what we typically do our shave. So whenever they did this hole, this step down that's around the outside of it is actually deeper than what we would normally shave the side, so we're still going to have an outline here. So we need to do basically come down into 45, come over at an angle off the end, and then do another shave. So that's going to step it down even further, one step notch further, to get rid of the outline. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a window here, and then we're going to do another step down, another window here, and then another step down. So it's going to be somewhat of a staggering base design. It's something that I haven't done before. I thought it was a good opportunity to conceal the hole that's already there, somewhat remove that off the slide. Something to take into consideration, a couple things here, is that we have to, typically I wouldn't cut a window this high on a slide, you know what I mean, towards where the roll is. I would usually bring it down further, especially in the event that if we were going to be doing something on the top, and obviously this one has already had material removal done on the top. So we are, keep in mind as we unfold this project, we are working around existing errors. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are like, well, why didn't you do this? And they don't really see where we started. They see an end product and they don't really get a feel for, oh, okay, we were working around something, we were actually correcting something, and we were actually making a change on something. So, you know, please, if you're looking at the end of the video, or if you've gotten yourself to the end of the video, hopefully you'll go back and watch the beginning of it and get a feel for the challenges that we had to overcome during the build to give us, you know, give us kind of an idea of the pattern that we were going to be designing, but we had to design around the existing flaws. So that was one of the things. Now, of course, on this side, we'll do the same thing. Shave side, we'll come down, we'll come off, we'll do window, window, another shave step down here. Now, one of the other things that the customer is after is an EGA logo. More than likely, we'll add that somewhere in this zone right down and through here. So we'll obviously do a little bit of laser work there. And in the end, we're going to be doing a Cerakote color of OD. So we'll basically do an entire cleanup, and then we'll OD the slide. We'll come back, we'll take a look and see what it you know, looks like. Guys, of course, we're going to have a whole bunch of pictures of like the before, the after, kind of get more of a feel for like where we are and what we've done. And that's kind of going to be what we're going to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to the Tormach. We're going to go ahead and clean up this from the last machinist. We're going to do that precision work on the Tormach. We're going to navigate our way over to the laser and add some EGA to it over there. And then when we're done, we'll see what we came up with. All right, guys, let's take a minute here and see exactly how this came out in the end. This is quite the overhaul compared to where we first started. We ended up having this big hole on the side. Obviously, we ended up having some damage here, some damage all the way down the sides. This was a new pattern. This is something that we had not done before. I think overall it ties in fairly well with what they had here with the existing serrations on the top. We did blend and conceal, hide that hole that was existing on the right-hand side of the slide. Overall, just I think we 10 for 10 really knocked it out of the park as far as concealing the damage that was already there, also making a pattern on it that goes well with the sides and the top, and once again, just concealing all the damage that was there is really the #1 goal, was to get rid of it. So let's talk about it. We ended up removing the factory dovetail off the rear section. We shaved this down, did just kind of a roundish edge here so that way it looks a little bit more natural. Of course, we will include some pictures here. We ended up basically just punching and threading the holes here for the optic. There's not much I could do there. There is a little bit of play between front and back, left and right. Now, if you're curious, this is my damage optic that we use. You can see a cracked screen here. This is my damage optic we use here for fitting, so don't expect it to be anything nice here during this video. But the idea here is that it does show us that there is a little bit of a gap here and there is a little bit of a gap through here. Unfortunately, there was nothing I could do there. I had to choose either front or back as far as the screws go. I ended up choosing the rear. I figured you're gonna get a lot more whip on the backward motion than maybe the frontward motion. I don't know there. It was a 50-50 shot where we were going with that. Overall, I think it fits. I mean, we don't have any play or anything like that. I mean, I think overall, I do think the functionality is going to be where it needs to be. Obviously, the visualization there could have been maybe slightly better had we done all of the work, starting from the beginning all the way to the end and not, try to do a correction here. But overall, really pleased with it. These front serrations seem to be fairly straight. I did check them out. A couple of them here towards the front had a little bit of peaks on the tops instead of an actual cut, and I think there was one or two in here that might have been a little bit thicker than the other ones. But overall, if you didn't know what you were looking for, you probably wouldn't actually have seen it if I didn't point it out. So it was fairly close. Whoever actually did the millwork on the top, I'll give them somewhat of an A+ on that. It does look fairly decent. The sides, so we went ahead and shaved those sides down. I ended up coming back through and just shaving the edges and then shaving the edges again, because a lot of their cut work, and I know it's hard to see in the video, a lot of their cut work was up into what I call these borders, okay? So they had cut work that was like halfway butchered up into here. So we ended up shaving just the top of this high side, shaving just the top of this high side as well. And then of course we ended up shaving the back. We did match the other side as well over here, so that way they do look symmetrical on both sides. But overall, I'm very pleased with, what we ended up as that final product in the end. Hopefully, I'll be able to include some more pictures of the damage slide. What ended up happening was I ended up damaging my phone. I lost the pictures, and I'm going, as I'm making this video, I'm going through the process of trying to recover those before the slide actually ships out. So we're going to see exactly what ends up getting posted here towards the end of this video. I know that we'll have some pictures of this slide, as it's been done now, but I'm not sure we're going to have a whole lot of pictures of the damage work. So we're just going to see what we come up with. But overall, the EGA, nice and deep and dark. I like that. It's an offset two-tone there, really cool. And I really like this, and you guys can kind of see this in the pictures maybe a little bit better. What this is this is a shave, and then this is a step down. Of course, this is a window. This is another step down, and this is a window, and then this is a third step down. So overall, it's almost like, thicker, thinner, thinner, and then thinnest at the nose. I do like the design. It's something that maybe I would alter and or change if I was to do it again in the future. This is a first, what I would call gen, or first revised version of it. I do think I would probably make some changes, like I said, but overall, I'm really pleased with the way that it did come out. This ended up doing the OD green as far as the slide goes. Really, really like it. So guys, one of the things I just want to tell you is if you haven't been following the channel, you need to subscribe, you need to click the bell, get your notifications turned on. We happen to have a lot of unique builds that pop up over the years, and it's just different stuff from, maybe it's a project we haven't seen before, maybe it's a build it like one of these, maybe it's some sort of a design that we've seen another company do on a specific model and we want to do that on a different brand altogether. So we happen to see a lot of different things on this channel. One of the main reasons to subscribe and get your notifications turned on is whenever we put a new video out, you'll get an email alert, and then you'll be able to click it and watch it right from your email instead of hunting and pecking and trying to find what's new and what's already been released. So definitely subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications turned on, save yourself a little bit of time. Now also, what you're going to find is that a lot of our pictures and smaller video-based content is on our Instagram. It's also over on our Facebook account. So if you happen to have those accounts and you're not following, follow along. You'll obviously get some new content there. And one of the other things I do want to tell you, and I know a lot of you guys don't do the Instagram, don't necessarily have the Facebook account, you want to stay off the media sites. We ended up putting up a video a couple of weeks back, which I titled as our welcome to NCEngravers video. So if you're a newcomer to the channel and you click on us, you'll see it pop up first. If you happen to be somebody that's already subscribed, go back through the video list and you'll find it there as well. And what it is it happens to have a lot of different pictures of builds that we've done, but not all of them have made it into videos. Not only that, but we happen to have a lot of content that came off of my cell phone before we damaged my cell phone, and it's in that video as well. So if there happened to be some barrel work, maybe there was some laser stippling stuff that just wasn't enough to generate what would be an entire build video, it's in that video. So there's a lot of content. I mean, there's a lot of content. There's 10 to 12 minutes of nothing but picture after picture after picture, different videos of stuff that you probably haven't seen before. We get a lot of those, hey, can you do this logo? Can you do this color scheme? We're not really looking for any CNC work, and of course we don't do a video on it. So if you don't have Instagram and you don't have Facebook, then of course you didn't see it. So there happens to be a lot of new stuff in there. It might give you some ideas of exactly what we can do as far as changing the overall design of your slide. It might just point you in the direction a little bit better. definitely reach out to us. Go to the webpage. We do have a contacts tab. We put it there for you guys to use. Let us know exactly what you want to have done. We also have a service tab. So we're always adding new stuff onto our services. Click on the service tab. Click on your make and model of your brand and your model, and kind of get a ballpark feeling of what stuff costs. Or hey, I saw it cost this on this slide, but I didn't see it listed from my slide. Can we put one of those projects together? Can we get a quote turned out? And that's exactly what we'll do. So it's going to kind of give you a ballpark of what the builds do cost. Hopefully it'll give you an idea of what some of the turnaround times are. If it's something simple like an optic and a Cerakote, you're looking at like a 2 to 3 day turnaround as of when this video is posted. Obviously that's subject to change. But guys, we are quick. You know, we get them in, we get them out. I would say that probably 90 to 95% of the people that have used us as a service for easy work, you know, serrations, raptor cuts, coloring, optic cuts, have always been like, wow, that was like super fast. And you can ask, you know, go on to our Facebook. We've got reviews. Those guys leave reviews. Feel free to reach out to those guys. We don't have anything to hide. Ask them what you want to ask them, and you know, have those customers give you back their feedback on how it was through NCEngravers having that service done. So guys, I'm going to work on a couple more guns. I'm pretty busy here. We have a lot going on this year, and stay tuned for some other really cool builds.